Good afternoon, UTLA family, students, educators, parents joining us today. We will be talking exclusively about the tentative agreement on crisis distance learning. The bargaining team worked a marathon week and weekend of nonstop bargaining, and finally, at around 10 p.m. last night, UTLA and LAUSD reached a tentative agreement. I'm excited to say that this agreement meets our top priorities of protecting the health and safety of staff and students, strengthening crisis distance learning to maintain daily school routines, expanding social emotional support during this period of trauma, and ensuring educator discretion and flexibility in recognition of the unprecedented circumstances in which we are living in. I want to note that there is some concern about hybrid school schedules. This agreement is on distance learning only and does not include any element of a hybrid schedule. A hybrid model is not a part of our current reality with a surging pandemic all around us. Now, here are some highlights of the TA. Please check your email and the comments section below for the full tentative agreement, as well as a summary TA. Daily live instruction. A school schedule will be from 9 a.m. to 2:15 p.m. with flexibility, targeted small group instruction, as well as time to focus on social emotional needs of our students. Opportunities for ongoing projects, small group work, and independent work. Mondays are instructional support days. Student instructional days are Tuesday through Friday. Office hours where students and families can connect with teachers. From August 20th through the 28th, a smart start to the school year to set the stage for teaching and learning, including using instructional time for walkthrough sessions on technology to be used in class and time for outreach for students and parents. The afternoons of August 17th through 18th will be used for planning and preparation for the beginning of the academic year. The afternoon of August 19th will be used to make initial contact with students and families for introductions and explaining procedures. A flexible work schedule for non-classroom educators and early childhood educators to meet the needs of students. The agreement will go to a full vote of UTLA members next week. It is so important that we vote to ratify this contract. Details and a timeline of voting is as follows. Today through August 7th, frequently asked questions will be emailed to members, and videos of different elements of the agreement will be posted regularly on social media. August 5th through 7th, an agreement discussed at the UTLA Leadership Conference with special sessions during core training on Thursday. All members are welcome to attend the free UTLA Leadership Conference. Registration deadline has been extended to Monday night. That's tonight, August 3rd. Register now. The info is available in the comments section below. August 7th through 11th, chapters are to hold meetings to discuss this MOU agreement. After August 11th, voting dates will be to be announced. Members vote online with personalized PIN. Election will be run by Integrity Voting Systems. This agreement will be brought to life by educators, students, and parents. This MOU is not an end point. It's a beginning. We must invest more resources to create healthy and safe schools and to build on this MOU with responsiveness to feedback from educators, parents, and students. Next, we will have Arlene Inoue, UTLA's bargaining co-chair, give an overview and highlights of the agreement. Take it away, Arlene.
Thank you, Cecily. On behalf of the UTLA Bargaining Team, we're so gratified to be before you with a tentative agreement that we reached last night. I have more wrinkles and bags under my eyes and a little stiffer back, but it's worth it. We all feel that it's been worth it for our students, our families, and our members. And so we powered through with your support and your encouragement. We saw your strike photos on Facebook and read all of your messages about having our back, and it really meant a lot to us. So today in this Facebook Live, we're just going to present some of the highlights of the 6-page proposal. Again, as Cecily said, you can read the full proposal, as well as we'll be having videos made of different sections. What's really important about the tentative agreement is that we stuck to our foundational principles. Bargaining is a back and forth process, and you have to give away some things that you originally put in, but we stuck to what we believed were critical. And that is, one, we never wavered from what we thought was the best crisis distance learning program possible. Knowing that we're living in an unprecedented pandemic, where flexible schedules and supports absolutely must be provided. Now, while the district would not at first move off from requiring educators to physically return to work at a school site, they dropped this on July 30th, along with a micromanaged schedule of 8 to 3 that just would not work for educators and families. This bargain was literally about the health and safety of everyone. Everyone who enters a school building, and is a life and death issue. So as we mentioned earlier, this is not about negotiating a hybrid, but just about the distance learning. So we're pleased that we have a flexible workday from 9 to 2:15 that includes whole and live video, small group instruction, opportunities for ongoing projects, and independent work. And a second foundational issue is that we kept in mind the needs of all of our students and recognized the digital divide and the greater impact of COVID-19 on our students of color, who are 90% of our school district. We heard from 3,000 of our LAUSD parents and guardians in our survey, where 35% reported that their children are more sad or anxious than usual during this pandemic. So we provided a focus on distance learning that includes social emotional supports, technology, and academic supports. This side letter is for all of our bargaining unit members. That's all 33,000 plus. And it's classroom and non-classroom educators and the full diversity of what we represent. So the sections of this tentative agreement are distance learning, Smart Start, compensation, evaluation, benefits and leaves, technology support, special education, non-classroom educators, early learners, adult education and CTE, professional development, distance learning work group, student and community health work group, and the terms of the agreement. So we're going to walk through this with you, and I'm now going to introduce Julie Van Winkle, UTLA's Secondary Vice President, who's going to go over the distance learning section.
Thank you, Arlene. So our plan for distance learning and creating schedules had to be compliant with Senate Bill 98. Senate Bill 98 requires daily live interaction, a minimum requirement for daily instructional minutes, which ranges from 180 to 240 minutes, depending on grade level. So we have to just make sure when we realize not only our district, but all the districts in California need to comply with this Senate bill. And we know that we have achieved some distance learning definitions and schedules that are compliant with SB 98 and will also work well for students and teachers. Attendance will be taken daily. For secondary, we're going to have small group advisories. What this means is that you'll actually be breaking up your advisory or homeroom into 2 smaller sections to check in and establish personal connections, which is harder online than during normal times at school. So this isn't meant to just be another prep. It can be a way to check in with students in small groups or individually to work out tech and connectivity issues, make necessary announcements, and as Arlene mentioned earlier, focusing on the socio-emotional issues that may be coming up, or a program that your school is currently implementing in advisory or homeroom. I want to talk a little bit about the difference between synchronous and asynchronous, because these are words that you're going to see all over the schedule. So during the school day of 9 o'clock to 2:15, students are going to be engaging in both kinds of learning, synchronous and asynchronous. What does that mean? So synchronous basically means any teaching and learning that happens in real time. It includes direct instruction and live video, but it also could include peer-to-peer learning with teacher guidance, whole or small group instruction, any feedback given in real time. Educators can use various media like PowerPoint or videos on a related subject as long as the educator is present to provide real-time feedback and guidance. Asynchronous pretty much means at any time. And that's one of the things that some students really like about distance learning. It allows more flexibility. So this would include independent student work, self-guided modules, pre-recorded lessons, and email correspondence. So during the school day, there's going to be a mix of synchronous and asynchronous instruction. And some of these asynchronous projects that students are working on could extend beyond the school day. For schedules, as Cecily mentioned earlier, Monday for all grade levels is going to be an instructional support day. So this is a time to review, work with groups, check for understanding, and then there's going to be PD in the afternoon for teachers and educators. There's explicit language in our agreement that states that childcare and family circumstances must be taken into account. If you have a home emergency that could impact your lesson plan, you're not going to be disciplined for that. Because we know that's a reality for a lot of our members. For elementary schools, our schedules have 180 daily minutes for ETK, TK, and kindergarten, 230 minutes for grades 1 through 3, and 240 minutes for grades 4 through 5 at an elementary, or also 6th grade if your elementary goes up to 6th grade. And again, this is compliant with SB 98. The elementary courses include core blocks with a combination of synchronous and asynchronous instruction at the teacher's discretion, because we know teachers don't all teach the same way. That's true in real life. It's also true in distance learning. For secondary, the schedule is 240 instructional minutes. One of the great features about our schedule templates is that no reprogramming is needed, because we have provided templates for any different kind of schedule configuration, a 6-period day, a 7-period day, an 8-period day, and a 4x4. And if after all that, the schools are not satisfied with the schedules that we offer in the tentative agreement, they have the ability to write a waiver for an alternative schedule. You just have to remember that if you do write a waiver, you still have to comply with SB 98. And with that, now I'm going to hand it back to Arlene Inoue, and she's going to be joined by bargaining team members Victoria Casas from Beachy Elementary in Valley East and Adrian Tamayo from Lorena Elementary in East to go through the issues.
Hello, everyone. This is Victoria Casas, Valley East, and I want to give you some more information on distance learning. So to continue on with this distance learning, we have some great language for our subs. We've been in really uncertain times for our substitutes, and we need their amazing support. So luckily, we're going to be able to have them assist us in class according to school needs as determined by administrators. But they can do things such as help with breakout rooms. In addition to that, we have language that is going to support teachers and students, teachers and parents communicating and making sure that parents really understand what is expected of their child, especially when it comes to synchronous minutes of instruction. We want to make sure that everybody understands how that works, so we have language around that. And in addition to that, to ensure that there's not going to be conflicts in schedules with out-of-classroom personnel offering support services to our students, they will go ahead and provide a schedule and collaborate with classroom teachers to make sure we don't have conflicts that don't allow for services to be given. And in addition, we have, just like when we were in the classroom, administrators can come into our classrooms in the physical setting. This will also happen in the virtual setting. However, we will be given advance notice to make sure that people know that their administrator will be coming in to observe. All right.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adrian Tamayo, a special ed teacher from Lorena Elementary in East Area. And I will continue sharing highlights of the language in distance learning. And this also includes that there will be no recording of any of your lessons or live instruction without your prior notice or your consent. So that's really important. There will be a concerted effort. We had lengthy debated conversations over combos and split grade classrooms, and there will be a concerted effort to avoid combination classes in general education when possible. This will include the use of substitutes and pool teachers as they are available and as they are assigned. However, we recognize that not every split class or combo scenario may be addressed. So educators that don't get that support will be given a written rationale by an administrator explaining to that member why there was no support for your split combo grade level classroom program. For alternative school schedules, they may be developed on a site-by-site basis, and the really important and key word here is flexibility, and that's great. Flexibility will help us address the individual needs of our students. The waiver program for alternative schedules has been extended to September 15th, so those schools wishing to develop a waiver program and apply for that still have time to do so. And something that was really exciting was that we will have no more than 2 faculty meetings outside of our workday per month. So we will have our regular 1 meeting per week PD or or grade level meetings, but we will have no more than 2 faculty meetings outside of our workday.
And next is the Smart Start. And as you heard, this is to kick us off to a successful year. Sometimes the word Smart Start is used in other contexts, but for us, it's a time to prepare, to have the professional development, to provide the time for building positive supports and rapport with our students and families, to practice routines and practice what's the procedures for logging in to the district's learning management system. The Smart Start week will begin on Monday, August 17th, and there will be 3 hours of a pupil-free day for professional development, 3.5 hours on August 18th and 19th. There will also be planning and preparation time during the afternoon of August 17th and 18th, with the 19th used for parent and student outreach. We feel this is so important in a district where, according to our parent survey of 3,000 LAUSD parents, 22% of families earning less than $15,000 a year report not having reliable internet access, while only 2.7% of families making over $150,000 reported problems with internet connectivity. Up to 25% of families making less than $15,000 a year don't have enough devices for everyone to use at the same time as needed. The Smart Start week is going to allow us to troubleshoot and work on these connectivity issues and make sure that our students have what they need and parents have what they need. And it also allows time to address social, emotional issues.
In compensation, evaluation, benefits, and leaves, we're really excited and very thankful that we were able to hold on to the fact that no unit member, and I believe it was reiterated earlier, no unit member is required to physically return to work. We are really thankful that we were able to include that as one of our priorities has always been to save lives and stay healthy. That includes ourselves as educators and of course students. So no unit member is required to physically return to work. In evaluations, no permanent members will be evaluated this year. And as Julie stated earlier, the district recognizes that life happens and there will be emergencies on occasion, and no punitive feedback or any type of written responses in a punitive manner will be given to members if there is an emergency that interrupts a lesson or sometime somewhere in your workday. All unit members will receive their base pay, including the health benefits that we have, and differentials will also be honored this 2020-2021 school year. Auxiliary pay will continue to be based on teacher performing the duties as well. For MBC educators, those provisions also continue for the 2020-2021 school year with the opportunity to make up the hours that may be needed to complete the 2019-2020 requirement for that compensation.
And in addition to all of that, we are also going to be able to have all of our pool teachers assigned to school sites. And back to the substitutes, if you took the survey for your work availability and for the substitutes that want to work, they will be based at school sites, as I said earlier, based on student need at that school site. And substitutes will also be able to participate in the Smart Start PD from August 17th to August 19th. And again, receiving their full rate of pay. The subs will, the substitutes that have completed the district survey, which I want to make a little pitch for that, make sure that the district knows how much you really want to work, because the ones that want to work are going to be given work, and then will be given will not have to meet the 1 day a month threshold, which would probably be met anyway because you're going to be working. But however, if some circumstance were to come up, you will still be covered with your health benefits. And in addition to that, substitutes will be given any technology that they are lacking to be able to do their jobs. So if there is technology lacking, make sure you reach out to your administrator. And in addition, the substitutes will be given 10 hours of distance learning PD at the training rate. So this is different than the 2 days, the 17th and the 18th. Those are at full pay, but the 10 hours of additional PD are at the district's training rate. As I said, with technology for the substitutes, that they will get what they need, that goes for all unit members. All unit members that are lacking technology to do their jobs must reach out to their supervisors and make them aware of that, so that we can make sure that everyone has what they need.
In special education, understanding the complexity that all programs in special education have and bring, special education educators will have the flexibility to create comparable schedules that will address student needs. And it's really important to understand flexibility and comparable because obviously we know that our IEPs, student goals and objectives drive the way our programs look and the way we plan out our instruction. Professional development will be provided for the delivery of services such as teleservice and other unique needs of our special education programs. The Smart Start period also applies, and we're I'm very thankful as a special education educator that we'll be able to use the Smart Start period to prepare our programs, to establish our communications as well, to review the goals and objectives that we'll be looking at, setting schedules, coordinating with the DIS providers, as we all know how complicated scheduling services is. So the Smart Start period is that time frame where we'll be able to prepare and plan out what our year is going to start out remotely, understanding that there will be potential backlog in IEPs due to the closure. We recognize that we may have more IEPs than in the norm, so substitute coverage will be arranged during IEPs that occur during your instructional time, and that's also this will also be provided during any assessment that is federally mandated. We also recognize that there's going to be continued issues as we move through this remote year of 2020-2021. So we will continue to exercise our rights in the Article 22 meetings to meet with the district to take on the ongoing issues that will most likely continue to arise in special education.
Non-classroom. We have such a diverse workforce of non-classroom teachers. Everything from our arts itinerants to special education related services and health student and health professionals. Through our special category chapter chair structure, we've received input and ongoing feedback throughout this whole process. This side letter acknowledges the great need for HHS and other services, and therefore the flexibility needed in how to provide student support. It encourages innovation and collaboration. For example, psychologists are able to work with similar students who have goals on their IEP that from different schools. Counselors can modify their individualized graduation plans during the second semester. And counselors can also work on the crisis hotline, which have flexible hours. There's also a recognition that we are in a pandemic, and therefore, with the approval of the supervisor, flexible hours outside of the 9 to 2:15 time, school day time, can be given. And there's a limit, and I think this is really important, a limit of 5 hours of screen time per day, knowing that the amount of working with student time, services, IEP meetings, 504s, SSTs, coaching, conferences could easily exceed that time. The health and safety of our members has been a priority throughout the bargaining process. We also addressed home visits and the need for equitable and appropriate education for ELL and DHH, our English language learners and deaf or hard of hearing students.
All right, and continuing on to our EECs and CSPPs, they will also have daily instruction. Their daily instruction is set at 180 minutes. However, that is not all synchronous minutes. The synchronous minutes for our youngest learners are capped at 45 minutes in any given session. They will also be able to take advantage of the Smart Start time to be able to go ahead and connect with students and parents and work out methods of communication and what is expected and to establish routines. Flexibility has been a huge theme. It is the theme, I would say, apart from safety, health and safety. So we wanted to make sure that our EEC and our CSPPs educators also had flexibility, so they may appeal to their administrators for a flexible work schedule. They will also receive a one-time $500 payment for materials and resources for their teaching. And in addition to that, the district has agreed to provide appropriate professional development for our early childhood educators. For adult ed and for CTE, they will use all of the individualized instruction labs will be synchronous and asynchronous.
in professional development, following this agreement, in the future, the district will include captioning and ASL interpretation embedded in videos as it is required by law. And this also includes professional development of social emotional learning. And I was thinking of that as I see Justin here doing an amazing job as he does all the time. Thank you for that, Justin. We are going to have 2 work groups that will be created coming out of this agreement. One of those work groups is the distance learning work group. And this is really important because we understand and we recognize that there will continue to be issues that will impact all educators as we move through the remote learning period. This group will provide input that will address ongoing issues that include alternative school schedules, technology and distribution of any type of materials, grading policies. We know that grading continues to be a big concern, so we want to make sure that we have real input into the grading policies and social emotional learning policies that will continue to be discussed. And of course, assessments. It's a big question that we had, and we're going to be addressing these concerns through this work group with the district. So assessments and standardized testing. The work group will be made up of 5 UTLA representatives and 5 LAUSD representatives. And this group will meet bi-weekly or as needed.
And our second work group is our Student and Community Health Work Group. And this is a very important work group to us as we absolutely fight for our students and the community. And this is because we know that our students' learning conditions are our working conditions. And we know that our community needs for us to be there in the interest of physical and social emotional health, in addition to watching out for the state and federal funds, and also finding ways that we can connect with LAUSD to advocate for the issues that affect our students and our community. These are top priorities for us, and we are very happy that we were able to win this. And this work group will also have 5 representatives from UTLA and 5 representatives from LAUSD.
And now we're at the terms of agreement. And so that means we're nearing the end, and we appreciate your hanging in with us because we have a complicated workforce, as you could see, with a lot of different issues, but we feel good about what we were able to get approved in this tentative agreement. The dates of this agreement is effective today, August 3rd, and it will expire on December 31st, 2020, or whatever comes sooner if students return physically for regular instruction. So whichever comes first. And as was stated earlier, the hybrid model or any other kind of model will be negotiated after this. And this MOU or side letter can be extended upon mutual agreement. We will continue to bargain the effects on the eventual physical return to the on-site structure, and that our collective bargaining agreement remains in effect for anything that hasn't been covered in the CBA, that hasn't been modified. I think the work groups that both Adrian and Victoria spoke about are really important and proactive. So we have a place to take issues to, because we're gonna have issues. Things aren't gonna work smoothly, right? With whether it's technology or whatever things come up. But there's a place to address that in this side letter through the work group. And also Victoria mentioned the student and health work group, because we want to keep fighting for our communities who are dealing with this pandemic, along with an economic recession and all the issues related, health and safety. It's a really, really difficult time. So we have a proactive way to look at funding, such as Prop 15, the Schools and Communities First, and to be advocating for our students. So with that, I'm going to introduce Gloria Martinez, our elementary vice president, who wants to explain what this means for parents and give a message to parents.
Thank you, Arlene. To our parents, thank you so much for all your support and understanding as we all try to navigate, learn from, and grow from our experiences in the spring. We recognize how challenging it will be to start a new school year with brand new educators, perhaps at a new school, and what could possibly be your child's first formal school experience. With the exception of Mondays, your child will have a daily class schedule from 9 to 2:15. During those times, you can expect synchronous and asynchronous instruction to occur. You can also expect a combination of whole group instruction, small group instruction, and independent work during the day. This is typical to the groupings we use in a traditional classroom setting. We know that the current situation we are all living under can make us feel disconnected. So we establish time in our schedules where you can set an appointment with your child's teacher if you feel you need to connect and discuss issues that are unique to your child. We all know how important the first 2 weeks of school are in setting the tone for the school year. I'll let you in on a little secret. Educators all across the city experience the same excitement and nervousness leading up to the first day of school. We want to get to know you and your child better during these initial 2 weeks. So we will be utilizing some of this time to help with the technology issues, but also share with you the unique platforms that your child's teacher will be utilizing for their instruction. We hope that this individualized time and working out technology issues ahead of time will help us get off to an even stronger start this August. Also, I wanted to let you know that the district is also working on some short technology support videos for you to access, and those will be live on the LAUSD website soon. Once again, we thank you for all your patience and support, and we look forward to meeting you and your child soon. Para nuestra audiencia que habla español, tendremos un mensaje para ustedes en los siguientes días. And just one more reminder to our members, just to ease our concerns, the hybrid model is not addressed in this MOU because at this time we have rejected any hybrid schedule. Any conditions for a hybrid model schedule will be bargained once again, and this team will be at it all over again. And you'll be hearing updates soon enough. So thank you for joining us, and please stay safe and healthy. And make sure you stay tuned into our social media accounts and on our websites, utla.net and wearepublicschools.org for the latest updates.